Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today I am here with a new guest, Ruta. Ruta is head of indirect taxes at 1stopVAT, and 1stopVAT is a rapidly growing tax compliance startup where they solve all of the most complex VAT issues and help clients to be compliant with all of the VAT regulations. Hi Ruta, how are you?
Hello, nice to see you. Fine, thanks a lot. And how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Ruta, so basically we'll be talking a lot about VAT tax today, which I think is quite complex topic. It's definitely very hard for me. I'm running my business basically, and every time I had to handle VAX around different countries, this is like super painful problem for me.
Yep.
But before we jump to basically talking about the VAT compliances and all of things around VAT, I would like to maybe first start and basically talk a little bit about your story. So how did you end up working with like e-commerce and Amazon? What's your story? How did you start?
Mm-hmm. Well, my relationship, if I can say like this, started with e-commerce. Like I guess with the first purchase from Amazon. Not from that part that who do sales, but maybe from that part. Firstly, who has some purchases from Amazon or any other marketplace, and then. That relationship, actually a close relationship about Amazon, how I know a lot of details about it, how it works, what compliance issues companies have. Of course, started together with my start in 1stopVAT team. So it's almost 4 years for me when I'm actually a lot of into e-commerce because most of our clients are from e-commerce world. So, I always have to be step by step also in the same area where our customers are. So that's why I'm into it, and I know quite a lot because it's also interesting for me, but also I have to know it because I have to be prepared to advise our clients.
Got it. Got it. So you never sold anything on Amazon. It just you start to learn about this because of the clients and the industry you work with.
Yes, it's kind of interesting when you see also how are you charged, so but yeah, my relationship was only from the purchase part, and now
Yeah.
I know everything how it works from another part.
Yeah, that's very nice. I think this is exactly also how it is with me. Like everyone, all of our employees, kind of, because for us it's like we are running this dev shop. We're building a lot of software, but none of us really sold anything on Amazon. Even like Amazon itself, like in Poland, for example, it's not really popular. We had different marketplaces, but at
Mhm.
some point we just started to getting clients that are selling on Amazon, and we've built them like multiple different software solutions, integrations. So therefore, yeah, we also learned a lot just by hearing what they say, what they want. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that right now, if both of us would just start selling on Amazon, we'd be actually quite good with that because of everything we know from what we learned. So
Yes. Yes, for sure.
yeah, so Ruta, yeah, let's jump and let's talk actually about the VAT. So first of all, if you could explain some basics of VAT, why it is actually important for e-commerce businesses to understand it and be comply with the VAT regulations.
hmm Well, of course, first of all, I guess everybody knows, but it's always worth to remind it as VAT is that consumption tax, it's indirect tax that the tax which is on all the products, on most of the products that we are buying, or from another side, what we are selling. And together, with the business expansion abroad, also the tax goes as well, but in another country. So it's quite easy when all the sales are making only in one country, but when the business expands, goes internationally, so then the liabilities also goes internationally together. So why, of course, business have to be compliant. So for sure. they have to make sure that their accounts, especially on marketplaces on such as Amazon, if they are not compliant, their accounts might be suspended. So of course it's like a nightmare for any business, let's say, if their account will be suspended for a few months during that Christmas period. So this is one, of course, of the reason why all the businesses have to be compliant. Of course, another part that maybe sustainability, and also that part is that VAT is one of the biggest parts of the all taxes paid to any country's budget, and from that money, all of the countries, finances, building of the schools, of the hospitals, of the roads. So also there is another part why business as well have to be compliant, because they are the big part of all the economy where we are all living in.
Yes, that's true. I actually, for first time in my life, started to think about that once I registered my business. Before that, I was just assuming, okay, this is how it is. But now I actually see that, okay, now I sell things, I sell it with the VAT. But for example, then if I sell it abroad, there's like a special law where I don't really have to put VAT on my invoices. But then when I start selling to US or different continents, it's like, yeah, again, like there are different rules. So it is very important to understand, especially as a seller, as a Amazon seller, like even like normal e-commerce seller. Once you start expanding to your business abroad, it's a big challenge. So let's talk about the VAT challenges now for all of the e-commerce businesses, but let's focus mostly maybe on selling on Amazon, right? So what are the challenges that they face when expanding? I don't know, let's say from US to Europe or from Europe to US. Let's just make it simple in those two continents. Because then in Europe, again, there are different countries. So I know that there are also different rules.
Yeah. So even, if we talk about European business, the business that are established in Europe, of course, the first challenge is when the business decides to use Amazon fulfillment centers. So everybody should know that if the stock is anywhere in any other country, different from the establishment country, at once the VAT liability starts in that country. And this is the first challenge that actually faces all the business, and some of the business, and actually maybe quite a big part of the business just ignores that rule. But this for sure shouldn't be forgotten, because this is really important when the stock is moving between the countries. Another, of course, challenge, and what all the business have to double check to make sure that they have proper setups on their VAT rates for their products. So they have to fully understand what type of product they are selling. They have to double check what product type to choose, because this really is closely related to the VAT rate. Let's say if we take as an example, like in a few of the countries, baby clothes are with zero VAT, and if the company that do the sales of this kind of products just leaves the standard rate, so it means that they are overcharging all of the clients, and they are paying quite a lot of VAT. So each of the seller has to perfectly understand what rate is on the product that they do sales, and to do the proper setup. Of course, another challenge is to do the proper VAT registration. As we are from experience in our company, we see that companies are trying to do the registrations on their own, and maybe something does not go so smoothly, or the registration is not done properly, and then Amazon does not accept your VAT number. You cannot start your sales, and then you have to, solve all the problems. So from that point, of course, we always, not like only suggesting our services, but it's always good when the expert do the registration. It's much easier and it's quicker. Another, I guess, problem that I can mention, not like a problem, but a challenge, to have a proper setup of the refunded goods when we talk about the sales on Amazon, because it is a problem when the goods from the customer are returned in any of the countries where the seller does not have VAT registration. That, let's say, one refunded good, which price is 10 euros, at once triggers your VAT registration. And as a company, you might have a lot of problems only with that one return in one or another European country. When we talk about US, so it's much easier because in US all the taxes are covered by marketplace, by Amazon. So this is not such a big problem, such issues to go in on that market. Of course, there is no implications if the sales are done only via marketplace. If we talk about direct sales, so of course there will be different rules. So from my perspective, I guess this is the main challenges that all the companies faces when they start with Amazon.
And now, actually, let's talk about some of those cases, and also like the services. So first, I wanted to ask you about the sellers, right? Like, did you have actually any of the cases of the company that someone totally messed up with the VAT, and that's why actually they reach out to you? So they said, okay, now I don't want to pay anyone to solve it for me. I'll just do it myself. But then in the end, it caused even more trouble.
Well, actually, yes, it is, it's a part of our clients that part of our clients are coming with, before the start, they want to have an advice what to do, or maybe they have already prepared any analysis from their side and they are coming to us. Let's say, okay, we want to start very clearly, very compliant. So these are the perfect one, the clients. And another part, of course, are the ones who got suspended or maybe who received notices and applied penalties from one or another country. And then, of course, we have to solve the problem. So if the account is suspended, it might be a lot of reasons. Of course, the biggest problem definitely is because the taxes are not properly paid to one or another country, to tax authorities, or the VAT code is inappropriate or not properly, the company is registered. So the companies, are got suspended, they are losing their money, they cannot do sales. So here we are helping to do the unblocks in the Amazon to solve all the problems with the any of the country. And this is actually the main our service for these complicated cases. But when everything goes smoothly, so of course, yes, first part is the advice from our side. We are consulting our clients. Then, okay, yeah, of course, we can help with the registrations anywhere where the client needs. We can, of course, then continue with the filings of the returns. So the companies just can focus on their business, and we are dealing with that tax part, and they do not need to dig in to analyze what are updates in one another country, what rates should be used, and so on. So we are dealing with that part fully. And of course, another part of the job is to deal with authorities, to waive the penalties, maybe to contact with authorities as well, to unblock Amazon accounts as quickly as possible, because without proper involvement, all these suspensions might continue till 6 months. So we are trying to do it as quickly as possible. And usually the time for unblocking is around a week.
Got it. I think that overall, I think it's much better to just think about prevention, right? Instead of just going and solving the particular problem. So I want to actually ask also for this kind of things, like when you collaborate with clients, how does it work overall? Do you have some, I don't know, like should they treat you more like one-time consultation, or maybe like actual just a partner for everything VAT related, then that they have access to you on monthly basis? How does it work?
Well, actually, we are really flexible, and we can do whatever is needed for the client. Of course, it happens that the client just only need like a guidance what they have to do in one or another situation, and then let's say they are doing with their accounting team all just independently the registration or the filings. So it is fine. We can do only the consultation. We can provide advice what from our point of view the liabilities might raise in one or another case. Of course, we can go into agreement that we can cover from the registration to the filings and additionally the consultancy or of course if it is a case that let's say the company has another provider and they are not happy, they cannot reach them out, so of course we can take over all the compliance services, and none of the clients can be worried anymore about the timely submitted returns or timely made payments.
Got it. Now let's maybe talk about some of the examples. So let's assume that there is a US seller and he or she wants to explore and expand to European market. What are the VAT regulations that this business must follow before expanding to Europe, or like what would be the steps maybe if they even start considering to expand?
So for sure, they have to firstly decide if they are going to hold stock in Europe, somewhere in Europe, or they are going to just send directly to final consumers the goods from outside the Europe. This is the main trigger for VAT liabilities. So if the stock of the company is held somewhere in European Union, so it means that in that country the VAT registration is mandatory and all the obligations start in that country. If the sales are made only via marketplace, so yes, most of the VAT liabilities are covered by Amazon because that liability is transferred to Amazon. But still, if the stock is somewhere in Europe, still the registration is needed, despite the fact that, let's say, sales are made only via Amazon. And of course, it depends on the setup of the account. If the company, the seller, lets to do sales to B2B companies, to VAT registered companies. So it means that these sales have to be covered by the seller, but not by the Amazon. As Amazon is dealing only with B2C sales. And we can see from our experience that for sure, time to time, it happens B2B sales for these companies that do not, have a setup that they do not let to make a sale to business companies.
Got it. It's really, really tough. Like I would really think that Amazon would handle everything, but it's not that simple. So
Well, yes, maybe, of course, there is some bright side somewhere, not so far away, because European regulations are going to be changed and quite a lot in the upcoming 3-4 years. So it might be that also for the sellers, there will be no liabilities. All the liabilities will be transferred to Amazon. So it might be, but we'll see how it will be implemented in Europe. Of course, there is such a plans. So it should be easier, but we'll see how it goes, because as we know from the practice that all the regulations, there is a plan, and that actual dates are usually are not the ones that were planned. So we'll see. And of course, if we will have any updates on what we do also with our clients, so we constantly update them about what is happening in the world, what they have to know. And of course, if there are some triggers that are related with the exact client, we are informing them what to do and what are our suggestions.
awesome. Actually, I was about to ask that, right? So yeah, definitely in Europe and in every country, like the law is constantly changing. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, like how do you keep up with all of the changes? Then how do you educate on that, like all of your employees? And
Mhm.
then I also wanted to ask if you have somehow like a newsletter or anything like this that you inform your clients on, like also upcoming changes.
Mhm. So yes, for sure, we have newsletters for the subscribers. We are
Mm-hmm.
sending the first newsletter for all of the clients, and then they decide if they prefer to receive them. We are trying to make that newsletter, as you know. Effective to put only the information that is relevant for exact client type. Of course, we have these newsletters. Then
Mm-hmm.
each of our client has their account manager who knows exactly the client, his needs, his case, the countries where they do sales. So we are not waiting, for a month to let the newsletter go. But of course, we are contacting directly our clients if
Mm-hmm.
we know that some kind of date will be implemented. So in order our clients will be prepared for that. And when we talk about the preparation of the employees, so we are constantly having attending the webinars, seminars,
Mm-hmm.
international ones, to be up to date with all of the changes that are going to be as well. We are part of a few international VAT organizations, so we are having like twice a year like VAT summits. So we are
Mm-hmm.
sharing our knowledge and we're also gaining some knowledge from the experience, exact experience from the practice, what situations another companies are facing with. Also we are sharing our experience, so this helps us to be up to date with all of the changes, planned changes. So we can assure our clients that they will definitely will be informed about anything what is
Mm-hmm.
upcoming and is related with their business.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Do you have like just like one question maybe that comes from to my mind right now? So maybe more and more people will be aware of like how bad could be the penalty of not being compliant with the VAT regulations. Like, do you have some? It doesn't have to be like one to one, like or like 100% accurate, but do you have some number, like as an example of one of your client, that how much money he or she lost because of not really being compliant to all of the VAT regulations?
Well, yeah, it's of course depends on the businesses, but there was a client that actually hadn't paid the taxes for, I guess it was 1.5 year in
Mm-hmm.
UK. So it was a quite significant amount. I guess it was around 30,000 only for VAT.
Oh yeah.
So what was done from our side, of course, it was no possibility to waive such an amount, because no argument why it should be waived, because just the company didn't submit its
Mm-hmm.
returns and didn't pay any of the taxes. But what maybe a more appropriate agreement was made with the HMRC, UK authorities. It was like that payment split it into parts, so that our client could make not just at once a huge payment of 30,000, but just
Okay.
split it into parts, so, which
Yeah.
it's not so harmful to the business, and they can use that money to make their business alive, but not only to put everything on the VAT
Yeah.
penalties.
But that's painful, right? I mean, if I would have
Yeah,
to
for
just
sure.
suddenly
Of
pay
course.
30K for that, so yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good that you actually make it smoother to kind of pay it over time. So.
Yes, and also maybe I just remembered that also another point is where we constantly see that clients do not know just such a regulation, that especially this is related with sales in UK. The companies are importing the goods in UK, and they have VAT registration there, but
Mm-hmm.
they do not know that they can reclaim the import VAT. So
Mm-hmm.
also when we
So they're
see.
losing money.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. They are just paying to the freight forwarders, and they cannot recover anything. So always, when we see any possibility where the client can reclaim, do the reclaim. So we are always trying to, advise them. Maybe you should go this way, because you can, collect the money, but not only to make a payments.
Yeah, totally. Nice, Ruta. Thanks a lot. That was very informative episode. I also learned myself quite things about VAT, which is always super stressful for me. Like everything related to financing a VAT and the law. This is the for me, this is the hardest part about running the business. So I'm very glad that there are companies out there like yours, because then yes, I can just totally outsource it and I don't have to think about that. I just can focus really on my business. So that's great. So could you actually share like some information when people can find you if they have some additional questions, or how they can contact One Stop VAT?
Of course, on our website, 1stopvat.com, there are the forms where they can fill in for also for free of charge the consultation. Of course, I don't know if you share, anybody can contact myself directly, like only Ruta at 1stopvat.com. So we are always, willing to help for the clients, and to just the question to us, it does not mean that we will charge anything, because our purpose, of course, is business, definitely, but also that educational part, because we want that business understand what they are doing, and what is the importance of that being compliant.
Sure, totally. I will make sure also to include this information in the description so everyone listening or watching can check it right away. So yeah, awesome, Ruta. Thanks a lot for sharing all of that and coming for the podcast. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, thank
Thanks
you.
for writing.
Bye bye.
Bye.